to SMX West.
Somebody who's been in the SEO industry for a super long time, Chris Sherman. Chris Sherman has been doing SEO services for before it was really SEO. He and Danny Sullivan were like teammates when it came to writing at Search Engine Watch back in the old day, running the XMX shows. And this year, Chris Sherman announced that he's retiring after 20 plus years of running the shows, doing the content and so forth. He's somebody you probably heard of because of all the different shows he ran all across the world. Australia, London, New York, California, you name it. He's pretty much been there running SEO events and SEM events. He's pretty much known every single person in the industry who's publicly known because he runs the conferences. He's contributed so much to the industry, and I'm looking forward to talking to him about the past 20 years or so and what maybe is next for him. So looking forward to that, and hope you guys get to learn a little bit more about Chris Sherman. Hey, it's sponsor time. You heard me talk about Ezoic before. They recently launched their Site Speed Accelerator, which instantly guarantees an 80+ Google page speed score, improving your website's UX and ranking. What you may not know about Ezoic is that they are primarily a technology for publishers. They're best known for helping content creators automate complex operations related to monetizing their content. The platform lets publishers create experiments that machine learning will then execute to help publishers increase ad revenue and balance user experience along the way. If you'd like to learn more about Ezoic, the Site Speed Accelerator, or their complete platform for publishers, you can visit www.ezoic.com. Chris Sherman, thank you for sitting down with me. This is your last official XMX event as, I guess, partner. You're still a partner, I guess.
Yeah, still partner.
But as, I guess, doing this day to day.
Yep.
So you've been in the industry for a long time, before it was an industry. Kind of helped form this industry. I guess before we get into that, what was your first job in search related stuff?
My first job in search was with a mining company, which was a website that existed back in the late 90s, actually. And the mining company's premise was to actually hire human guides to go out and guide people to the internet.
Right.
And so I was the web search guide. My job was to talk about the search engines of the day, like Excite.
And that was when?
This was 1997 that I started that. Mining company eventually became About.com, which was then, of course, acquired by New York Times, and I don't even know who owns them now.
Right.
But that's what I was spending my pretty much full time doing, was writing articles about the state of search at that point.
And then you met up with Danny after that? How'd that
work? Danny actually was doing the keynote in 1998 for the Internet Librarian Conference.
Okay.
And I was there primarily because what I was writing about, which most of the people attending, were how to find stuff on the internet. And Danny shows up with this thing. He just finished this study called the Webmasters Guide to Search Engines, where he was talking, taking the webmaster's point of view, how do you get your site found on these search engines? At the time, it was just, nobody knew anything about SEO. SEO hadn't even been coined as a term.
Right.
And Danny had done digging and actually found, here are some things you can do. Very, very basic. It was just the very beginning kind of things.
Content, right?
Things like title tags and, header tags and things like that. But he really got the audience buzzing because here he is giving this information. They had just assumed the information tools that most librarians and information professionals used at the time were closed databases. And they were very sanitized. They were very clean. The data was, pristine. It had to be because they were, these are librarians giving people information.
Right.
And so their eyes just were wide open, and there was a lot of buzz afterwards. So I introduced myself to Danny, and we ended up hanging out for a while. And then we struck up a correspondence, and he'd help me out from time to time. I started expanding in my mining company job of writing about, what do you do as a webmaster in addition to that. So fast forward to 2001, and Danny had sold his site, called Search Engine Watch, to a company called, at the time, it was called Internet.com.
Right.
And was writing every day. It was just him, basically, and all that. So the people at Internet.com, Chris Elwell in particular, said, hey, what happens if you get hit by a bus? Go hire somebody. So Danny approached me, and I ended up becoming, in, I think, May or June of 2001, the first associate editor of Search Engine Watch.
That was a full-time gig, or?
It was full-time,
yeah. Okay, cool.
And so the two of us pretty much kind of kept working at that. Chris Elwell hatched the idea of doing conferences, which is search engine strategies.
Right.
I got involved with that, helping Danny plan, and so on. And then right around 2005 or 2006, the company that owned Search Engine Watch and Search Engine Strategies decided to sell the property to a British firm who really, it was kind of a nobody really understood it because they were primarily into finance and other types of trade shows. And it wasn't a good match. So Danny got kind of disgruntled, decided he didn't want to renew his contract, and went away. I ended up staying, kind of assuming I was going to take on the role itself. But a couple months later, Danny and Chris Elwell approached me and said, hey, we're starting this new company. Are you interested in joining? And so that's when Third Door Media was born.
Yeah. I remember those days, the days of, I was at Search and Watch when Gary Price stepped down to go to Ask Jeeves or Ask.com.
Oh, yeah.
And then shortly after that, that's when all this stuff happened.
Yep.
And you, Danny, like obviously Chris Elwell wasn't part of it, but he joined them. He formed XMX, but he wasn't part of the, I guess, the company that acquired it, obviously.
No.
And then also Greg Sterling and a couple other people went over and started Search XMX and Search Engine Land. So that was the fun days, I guess.
Yeah. We started the company in the Tropicana Hotel, the old one in
old
Vegas.
Tropicana Hotel.
And it was hilarious because this is like a 50s era hotel. Bamboo furniture that was kind of sagging because it was so old, mirror on the ceiling. I mean, it was not exactly what you consider for what we are today. It was pretty funny.
And it's amazing because you and Danny together pretty much put together the SES conferences and Search Engine Watch, and then redid all that from scratch and created Search Engine Land and XMX.
Yep.
And both were considered at the time when you guys were leading it the authorities in those spaces.
Oh, thanks.
So amazing job with that.
Thank you.
And now after 20 plus years of being in search, almost 20 years of doing this conference, you decided, I had enough, I'm done with this stuff, screw the SEO community.
That's exactly right.
You're on your own, hopefully you guys will last. But no, I mean, it's amazing what you've done, and I'm really appreciative. I'm sure the whole SEO community is appreciative of it. So what's next? I mean, what are you going to do next? What's your plan?
I'm taking some time. We've been building this company and continue to work on it, and so I just haven't had time to do personal projects that I've been wanting to do. We were talking earlier, one of the things I like to do is woodworking, and I also like to cook, so I'm kind of combining those two things in building things in the shop and just spending a lot of time learning a lot more about cooking and different styles and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to kind of just take some time to think. I don't know that I'm done professionally at this point, but I'm definitely ready for time to step back and kind of reflect a little bit.
Cool. And what's some of the things you like to cook? Anything specific or anything?
All kinds of stuff, yeah. I mean, Italian, Thai, pretty much across the board.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, and then the woodworking side of things, is there anything like you built that you're super proud of?
Well, I like to build bookshelves out of natural wood, and it's hard to describe, but they're very organic shapes. It's literally, if you just imagine slicing a tree without squaring it off. So you have parts of limbs coming out and all of that kind of stuff. I'm building this series of bulletin boards made out of wine corks that are very organic. They aren't the rectangular sort of things. They take on shapes of things like, I'm doing one of Italy, for example. So lots of stuff like that, just kind of messing around, being creative.
My brother, or his wife, I forgot which one, built a dartboard out of corks. And then also put LED lights in it with the solar panel. Although it's indoors, so the solar panel doesn't work, so that it doesn't light up. But it was pretty cute. And what's on your bookshelf? Anything, all Google related stuff, all SEO related stuff? Or you have
tons of SEO related stuff, yeah.
What about not SEO? Anything specific?
Yeah. I like to read fiction. I specifically like thriller fiction.
Okay.
I used to be a big science fiction fan. Danny and I shared that in common.
Right.
He's a big science fiction fan.
But you're not into the Real Housewives or anything like that?
No.
No, okay, good. Danny's very into that. And
that's his Orange County side coming
yes,
out.
It is. Interesting. It's just amazing because Danny left like 2 years ago.
Oh, I think it's been longer than that
really?
now. Yeah, it seems like it's maybe 3.
Feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I know, it does.
And he's only coming back now because you're leaving.
That's exactly right.
He's going to keynote at XMX Advanced.
Yeah, no, he's totally spiting me. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Hopefully I'll see you there. I mean,
It's
I'll try to
possible.
get you a free pass. You know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that too.
Awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for everything you do. If
thank
people
you.
want to somehow follow you and find out what you're doing, could they do it on LinkedIn, Twitter?
LinkedIn, yeah, I'll still be there.
You're on LinkedIn.
I'm on Twitter, but not very frequently. I'm CJ Sherman.
I tried to tag you this morning. I couldn't find your
Yeah.
Twitter handle for some reason.
I have not been active in maybe over a year, so.
Yeah, but TikTok?
Nope.
Not TikTok.
Nope.
What's the latest and greatest social media thing?
Really
Anyway,
not a big
LinkedIn.
social media
LinkedIn
thing.
was one of the first social media things, and it's
Yep.
still one of the best. So anyway, follow Chris on LinkedIn. We're looking forward to seeing what you're doing next professionally.
Thank you.
And again, from the SEO community who's over here to you, thank you for everything you've done for the community over these years. And you really laid amazing ground and foundation for, I guess, the next generation of whoever's going to do it, take over. And thank you for everything. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
well, it's been a pleasure and an honor.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.